Hello, everybody. I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. Thank you for joining us for Mad Scientists. Today is going to be all about different engineering challenges. And these are all things that you can do at home with your family, and this makes for really fun, family competitions to see who can do the best with all of these things. We're going to be doing three different challenges, and some of them take some time to set up and get ready. Specifically, we'll be doing a toothpick bridge, and we're going to see how much weight it can hold. Then we're going to do some paper towers, and then finally we're going to do an egg drop. And like I said, all of these can be done at home with your family. And they're a lot of fun for family challenges, like I said. So, as always, if you are tuning in for Flagship, please write your name and school that you're from, just for attendance purposes. If you are not able to write in the chat, please leave a comment on your school's Flagship Google Classroom so we know you attended. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to start off with the toothpick bridge challenge. Now, this toothpick bridge challenge, ooh, that was loud. Also, I turned on some quiet music just in the background. Let me know what you think about that. If it's distracting, oh no. If it's distracting, I can fix it. Or what I can do is I can just turn it off entirely or turn it up if that's what you want. I just kind of put it on because I'm going to be doing stuff. And I figured it might be nice to have some music playing while I did stuff. So, hi Tootie. Glad you could make it. So, what we're going to be doing is starting off with toothpick bridges. And I forgot my wax paper. So instead, we're going to be using aluminum foil. So we want to take a piece of aluminum foil and lay it down. And what makes this is actually one of my favorite challenges. I did this when I was in 6th grade, and I just had a blast. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting out with this aluminum foil because we need to have a place to build our bridge, and so that the glue doesn't get all over our table and stuff like that. So the aluminum foil's down, and you know what? I'm going to turn on the lights. It's a little dark in here today. Hopefully that helps a smidge. Okay, so for the toothpick bridges, we're going to need glue, either wood glue or Elmer's glue. A small cup or something to put the glue in is helpful, but you don't need it. You can just put a little pile on your aluminum foil or wax paper, and then toothpicks. So what makes this project really fun is you can, when you're setting it up with your family or friends, you can limit how many toothpicks you're going to use. Do you want to use 100? Do you want to try to do it in 50? 50 is pretty low. I'd say 100 is kind of your safe minimum. And then you can go up to 2, 3, 4, 500 toothpicks, depending on how big your bridge is. So, set that limit and figure out what it's going to do. Oh, excuse me. Drank some water wrong earlier, still recovering from that. Another thing you can do that makes this really fun is you can add Monopoly money. So maybe instead of a certain number of toothpicks, you have $5,000 of Monopoly money. And that Monopoly money can be used to buy, maybe each toothpick is $10. So you need to buy your toothpicks. And then maybe a small amount of glue is $100. Stuff like that. So you can make this fun challenge of, hey, we all have the same amount of starting money, but we're each going to use it differently for our own project. Because I'm doing this by myself, I'm not going to use money, but it's a really fun way to make this interactive and make it more of a challenge. So, what I'm going to start off with is on my aluminum foil, or like I said, wax paper is better because you can draw on it with like pencils. But I have a Sharpie, so I'm going to try to draw out my bridge. So I'm going to try to get this to be close to the size of my actual toothpick. So you can see right there, I'm going to draw the length of my toothpick, and I'm going to try to draw my design of my bridge. So what I want to do is I want to design my bridge in drawing form first. And then once I have it in drawing form, then I can start gluing down. See, and this is why this paper's a little bit, wax paper's a little bit nicer, because this gets you a little bit messy. And I'm going to have Sharpie on my fingers for a couple days now because I'm getting myself all messy. So I'm just drawing, I'm going to do probably 3 of these little things. And then once I have 3 of these down, then I'm going to we're just going to try to get this as close. And you can see I kind of drew this one. I don't know how well you can actually see that on here. But it's not quite perfect. It's got a little weird. I was getting ahead of myself and drew things at a weird angle. So I'm going to try to fix that. That's a little better. And that one's fine. Okay. So there's one side of my bridge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, maybe you can see this a little bit better if I hold it up to the big camera. I'm going to create, oh, there, maybe. I'll get aluminum foil shiny, so it's hard to see. But I just traced out my triangles. Triangles are really strong. It's one of the strongest shapes in nature because it distributes its weight across all of its sides equally, and it's hard to knock over. That's why we have things like tripods and stuff like that, is because they hold stuff really well. So this is one side of my bridge. So if I were to, and the reason I'm not using paper is because the glue that we put down will stick to the paper as well. But I'm going to just quickly draw a sketch of what I'm doing on paper so you can see it a little bit better. So this is one side of my bridge, and now you can see that a little bit better. And I'm going to have another one. Just pretend this is good. This is, like I said, this is just a quick sketch to show you my plan. So my measurements. So once I have 2 of these, I'm going to let these dry, and then I can pick them up and put them like this, and then glue toothpicks between them, and that's the base of my bridge, and that would be like where the car drives under. And then the next step of it is going to be the base, right? So maybe I want a square base with some crossing toothpicks like that. And then I'm going to build up from there and put like a toothpick up like this. And 4 of those, right? So then it's like sticking up and it's raised up off the ground a little bit. And then maybe I can do another square. So all kinds of different ways you can do this. So I'm just going to do a quick one as best I can, but you can kind of see how I'm doing this so you can have a better idea of what you want to do. And then next time we meet, we will be going over, we'll be doing these same challenges. We'll continue these. So next time, maybe we'll get to put this bridge together and glue all the pieces together after we've made them today. So multi-step process for sure. So I got my glue in here in my cup. Oh, my camera. What's going on with my camera? My close-up cam died. I'm just going to try to fix that so you can see things a little bit better. I've never seen it do that. Oh, no. Maybe a bad connection. Yep, that fixed it. Weird. Lucky for me, I'm not banging on... Oh, wow. I think my camera just died. Oh, I guess I dropped it one too many times. That's not good. I guess that's what happens when we bang stuff around a whole bunch and drop it and throw it off the table and whatnot. Let me try one more thing. Better? Wow. Okay. Well, it's also my microphone, so I'll leave it up, but we're going to have to turn the volume off. Man, I'm going to have to go get a new webcam. So, that's unfortunate. So what I'm going to do is I have my glue here, and I'm just going to kind of dip the tip of one toothpick in, and then the other end, to get a good, like, goopy layer. And then I'm just going to put that onto the trace that I had down here. And then now I have a goop. In fact, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this on the big camera since we lost our close-up camera. Let's see what I can do here. It's a little better. It might cut off some of my head, but at least you'll be able to see. Yeah, I think that's okay. I can drop down a smidge. Okay. We're almost there. Sorry, everybody. Was not planning on this today, that's for sure. Okay. So, just gonna dip, and I'm just gonna keep doing that until my platform is complete. And I want the two toothpicks to overlap at where they cross. That way they actually glue together to each other. So, I'm just going to continue this. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Like I said, this is a really fun one to do, like, as a whole family. Make sure you are all using the same amount of material if you're doing a challenge type thing. That way it can all be fair because you're all using the same parts. Sometimes what's nice is I'll get one toothpick that I'm not planning on using just as like a glue scoop. That way if I get a piece like I just did that didn't glue together super well or maybe didn't have enough glue, I can kind of scoop some glue onto that spot. Sometimes it's hard to get these just right, but it just takes some practice. If you feel like you've messed up, the glue isn't dry yet, so that's not a problem. You can always try again. It's the best thing about science. It's all about trying until it works. So here, that same toothpick that I was using as my glue scoop, I'm also using it to like reposition some of my pieces because I want them all overlapping and touching. In fact, down here they weren't, so I'm going to fix that. So try your best to get them all to like overlap and touch each other. That way they glue to each other and not just glue to the base of the aluminum foil. I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. I know I sure am with this stuff. So then there's my first layer right there. So now I'm going to need another one of those. And then I'll need to start the bases. And then this is going to have to dry for a minimum of probably 3 or 4 days before you start to glue the next pieces together. Even if it feels like it's dry in like one day, it's nice to give it a couple days to make sure it's really solidified, especially if you're using school glue, because it takes more time. So in the meantime, like I said, we're not going to be able to glue this together today. We're just getting our pieces made, and then we'll glue them all together next time. Speaking of which, next Friday there will be no Flagship live for Memorial Day weekend, and that goes for the following Monday. Next Monday we do have Flagship live, but the Monday after that we do not as well. So next week there will be no Mad Scientists. Okay, I'm going to finish this on my own time, or maybe at the end of later today, depending on how much time we have left. But why don't we move on to some other projects, some other challenges you can do at home. So our next one, all you need is paper. And it can be recycled paper, it can be newspaper, doesn't work as well, but you can make it its own challenge. So the goal of this is to make the tallest tower you can using just paper and the same amount of tape. So you want to make sure each group or each person has the same amount of tape, and the less tape there is, the more fun this challenge becomes. Because if you have all the tape that you want, then you make these giant towers. But if you have less tape, you have to be a little bit more resourceful. So one way to measure tape is like using your arm, so making it all the way to the tape. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just pinch this, and I'm going to bring the roll of tape to where my cuff is, and then I can give each person, if I was doing this with more than one person, the same amount of tape. So this is only, a few inches of tape. And that's going to make this all the more fun. So what we're going to do, the goal of this project, and maybe let's say each person has 5 pieces of paper. You can decide how many pieces each team gets or each person gets. But they're all, like I said, it doesn't matter. So the goal of this is to make the tallest tower you can, just using paper and the small amount of tape that you were given. There's lots of different ways. I encourage you to come up with your own methods. Maybe start thinking of ways you can tear and intersect pieces. All kinds of really fun stuff. So I'm going to, I think, go for circles that start larger and get smaller and smaller, and see how that works. Because I feel like maybe the cylinder can hold itself, but it's kind of hard to tell. And especially since we don't have a ton of tape, we're going to have to find out. So I encourage you all to try this at home. Make this a challenge. Just like before, these are all really fun challenges to do at home. And try other methods. Maybe a giant tube is best. Maybe triangles, like folding them in half and stacking them, works best. Because not only does it need to be the tallest, it also needs to stand without you holding it. So that's another stipulation. It's got to stand without you holding it. So try to think of some creative rules to make that work. Maybe there's certain things you can do to, maybe you're not holding it, but maybe you found something else to prop it up with, right? Like, be as creative as you can, because there really aren't any wrong answers when all you're given is you can't touch it and you need to make the tallest tower, if those are your only 2 rules. And I would love to see what anybody else comes up with. If you have pictures, we would love to see those. You can tag Flagship on Facebook or on Instagram. We have a Facebook account. We have an Instagram account. Hashtag Flagship Live is a place to share your projects that you're doing during Flagship Live. So If you have some ideas there that you're coming up with, we'd love to see them and love to see what you're working on. So there's one right there, and I'm going to try to add another one in here and get it to stand on its own. Like I said, these are all fun challenges that are a blast to do with your whole family. So get everybody involved. You'd be really surprised how well younger siblings are at problem solving. I say that coming from a place of experience because I'm the oldest sibling, and sometimes my younger siblings think completely differently than I do. And it's really interesting to see how that works. So here we go. So what's cool about the way I did it, I did not have to use any tape on this bottom part, just the top part for the second one, because it's held together by the bottom one, which does have tape. Which was nice. I actually wasn't expecting that. I was thinking I was going to have to tape it closed, but I ended up not having to. So you can see where having less and less tape might be beneficial, because the less tape you have, the harder this challenge becomes. I'm gonna tilt this up a smidge because it's getting taller. I'm gonna need to stand up. And I'm rolling these up the long ways. Maybe it would be better to do it the short ways. I don't know. It would definitely be taller, but maybe less stable. I'm not sure. Another thing you can add to this is limited amounts of time. Maybe you're only allowed to work for, 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, maybe you're a little bit more stressed and you don't have as much time to design or come up with a way to do this all on your own in 5 minutes. So you have to come up with different strategies. Another fun one you can add to this is no talking, but you have to be in partners. So you have to find a way to work with your partners without talking. That can be interesting too. Okay, I think I'm going to call that good for now, and I'm going to go get my measuring tape. And look, I have a little bit of tape left over. So maybe I needed more paper, or maybe I needed to be more efficient with my paper. So I challenge you to do this. My first attempt, let's see, we got 36 inches. So my tower using a small amount of tape, and that was probably 4 inches of tape. I didn't measure it. 4 inches of tape, 5 pieces of paper. Let's see if you can beat 37 inches. And I'd love to see your results. So definitely share them with us, because I would love to see how you did it. Maybe you used a completely different method. Maybe there's better methods than this one. Okay, I'm going to put my tower off to the side. Okay, now our last project. Oh, I'm going to zoom in again. Okay, so our last project is an egg drop. Definitely ask your parents before you do this, because it can get messy. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to protect an egg from falling from a predetermined height. So again, another challenge you can do with your whole family. And you can, and this can definitely, the dropping part will probably need an adult to help you with because you need to get up high, whether that's dropping it off a balcony or a ladder or a staircase, something like that. But know that it's probably going to get messy, and know that you need to be safe when doing that. So we're going to start off, and I'm going to use 15 straws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have 15 straws, and these are bendy straws, which I don't like too much for this project, but that's because it just adds another element. So it's not a bad thing that these are bendy straws. It just makes it a little bit extra challenging. So I have my egg here. I also have a plastic egg left over from Easter. I don't think I'm going to use it. I want to use the real egg today. So 15 straws, an egg, and then again, some tape. And I think this time, just for consistency, I'm going to measure this out. I think about 20 inches of masking tape is enough for this project. Oh. Let's see. So that is... Oh no. So here I have 10 inches. So I'm just going to get another 10. It broke while I was peeling. And another 10. All right. So 20 inches of tape is a good amount of tape for this. We definitely need more than the paper one. Again, just trying to be as consistent as possible when you're doing this as a challenge with your family. And there are so many ways to do this. So don't just try to reproduce what I did. Try to find your own method, because there are thousands of different ways to protect an egg from falling, right? So as an example, here's my plastic egg. If we just drop that, it would crack a normal egg. So what we need to do is we need to find a way to somehow build a cage of some sort around this egg using only tape and straws. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start that process. I have scissors if I want to cut them. That's up to you. Just make sure that the rules are consistent for your family competition. So I'm going to start, let's see. I like the idea of a triangle cage, something that it can kind of sit in. So I'm going to cut this first. I'm going to cut, I think, 3 straws in half. Really, I guess not 3 straws, but 2 straws. We'll start with 2 straws in half. And then here I have my 3 bases. So I think I'm going to just start with that. And the reason it's nice to have the egg out while you're planning this is just because you need to shape your cage around the size of your egg. One rule I do like to put onto the challenge is you can't tape directly onto the egg. The egg has to just sit in there untaped. And that's because things can get, if you're taping directly to the egg, it's hard to tell sometimes if it cracked because the tape will hold the egg together. So no tape on the egg. And see, so there's that. And we're just doing the first layer. And I don't want this to touch the ground. So our next one is going to go like right in here. Like this. So that the egg is not touching the table. I want it kind of balanced on its own. So I'm going to tape that right there. I'm going to tear this tape the long ways in half as well in order to get more use of the amount of tape that I'm allowed to use. Again, this is something that I would love to see your projects on. I want to know how you did it. Maybe you have a better idea and I can start doing this differently. So let me know what you come up with and how you designed your egg challenge. For these egg challenges, I also like to save as much tape as I can for the end, and then after I'm at the end, then I can put extra tape where I think it needs reinforcements. So the more tape you have around at the end, the stronger your overall structure of your egg drop will be. I feel like that's just me. It could be completely wrong. Oh, hi, kitty. My kitty wants to come say hi. You want to come do some science with me? Science cat! Or what is it? Chemistry cat? No. Okay. Yeah, just a little bit more here. All right. I'm happy with this. Now I think I'm going to create 2 more, one for each side of the egg, and then tape them. And then that will be my cage around my egg, and then I can use my extra straws somehow after that. I have some ideas. Okay. So I think we need that. And how it looks like the audio is working still, right? Even though we lost video of the close-up cam. Man, that's unfortunate. Okay. So now we just do this again. I have a not very sticky piece of tape. Sometimes that happens, and taping tape to tape will sometimes work better than taping tape to straws. Because the plastic doesn't want to be taped sometimes. Okay. What's really funny is a lot of these egg drop competitions aren't super clear on what's allowed. They just say, so ours we've said only tape and only straws. So we've defined that. But sometimes you'll see egg drop competitions that don't have that. And what's funny about those is technically, if they just say you need to drop an egg off a bridge, and if it survives, then you go off, like you move to the next round or whatever. Technically, just strapping an egg to a balloon full of helium to gently float it down counts. Or strapping it to a drone and flying it down also counts because the egg got to the bottom. So it's kind of funny how the different rules produce different results. Okay, so here's this. Now this one can go right in here to protect that side of things. And actually, I think I'm going to need 2 more. So there's 1. Okay, good. And then once we have all of these built, then we'll tape them all together themselves. So these are so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 straws left over after I build my 2 more cages. Sometimes the hardest part is just starting the first one. So again, lots of different ways. The main goal is usually just to build some form of cage around the egg to protect it as it falls. But there's lots of different ways to do that. So please share your ideas, your experiments. I'd love to see how you did all of this. This week we're just going to be spending time on the building of all of these, and next week, sorry, not next week, there is no flagship on Friday next week, so no Mad Scientist next week, but maybe the Friday after that we'll test all of these things. So again, if you are a student watching from home, please leave your name in the comments or put it on a comment on the Google Classroom. That way we know how to take attendance for everybody who showed up today. Man, this one's being stubborn. I think my tape is drying out a little bit. $42.5. Wow, that's awesome. If you have pictures of it, I'd love to see that. And what method did you use? Download the pictures. Awesome. Oh, I can't wait to see those. Triangle freestanding, about 5 inches of tape, not taped to each other. Oh, interesting. All right, there's another one down. The challenges are, we've done 3. This is the 3rd one. So this is an egg drop that we're working on. We did the one that Tootie is talking about is building a paper tower, like we did in that one staff meeting, where you only get about 5 inches of tape, and you just try to build, and 5 pieces of paper, and you just try to build the tallest tower that you can out of those materials. And then our other one that we were working on at the very beginning was a toothpick bridge that we'll come back to. Well, I think I'm okay staying a little bit later today to finish that up. But yeah. So it doesn't take too long if you want 5 inches of masking tape and 5 pieces of paper. I believe it was 37 inches on my first attempt. Tootie got 42.5. Man, I am struggling with these frames for my egg drop. Jeez Louise. Some misbehaving tape. If the materials were allowed, would a parachute be a viable option for an egg drop? Yeah, we were actually just talking about that. So a lot of egg drop challenges that you'll find online aren't super specific. So technically, putting an egg into a basket attached to a helium balloon counts. So does attaching it to a drone and flying it down. Because a lot of these instructions are not super specific. So our instructions say very clearly only using tape and straws, but not all instructions are like that. Okay, so here we go. I have my 4. Hopefully they're going to stay together. We'll start with you, and then you like this. I may be running out of tape. Yeah, no problem. If you're using an egg for measurements, I find it very helpful to have either a small cup or something round or something like that that you can put your egg in so it's not rolling away. It fits pretty well into my scissor handles, so that's what I did. So now what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to tape each side to each other. No promises though. So here's where it comes in handy for the like tape that wasn't working too well for me. It's a little bit easier to work when we're doing this. Okay, now my egg needs to be squeezed in here. Oh no! Things are already falling apart and we haven't even dropped it! See, this is where the limited amount of tape comes in. I might have to allow myself some more tape. I might have shortchanged myself with the 20 inches. We might need closer to 30. Or maybe I just made a bad one and used too much tape. That's also a possibility. So then what I'll be doing with this is all of these openings that I have here are all going to get those extra straws pushed through them. And I'll give you a quick demonstration once I get this guy on. Because this is really just that base layer. You know, I haven't quite decided how high we're going to drop this from. Normally it would be, I do scaled drops. So we start from just like my arms height up. And then if it doesn't drop from there, then we go higher and higher until we break them all. That's how I do it in a group. Today, since, okay, I am going to give myself a little bit more tape just because I have some stuff falling apart. So maybe 30 inches for those of you trying this at home. 20 inches seemed like not quite. I think I'm doing closer to like 24 inches. I want to be able to drop this at least once. Okay, so now, for me today, I'll probably just do it here, and then maybe I'll do it off my balcony, but you won't be able to see that. I'll just have to go do it and then come back quick. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, right? So I'm going to fold one straw and poke it through one of these holes. Oh. And you can see it kind of sticks out. We have that longer thing now. And we're just going to do that, try to do that in each direction. Give it some extra cushion. You can see now, if it were to land like this, it would be cushioned that way. Okay, I only have 2 straws left. I do not have a lot of confidence in this. Normally these go a little bit better. All right. So here is, oop, I already got straws falling out. Okay. So we're going to do it just from here. And if it survives this, then I'll take it outside. Hey, it survived. I mean, I don't think the egg thing did, but the egg, the contraption completely broke apart. Oh, dang it. Yeah, I needed more tape. All of it just kind of shattered. Well, I think we can fix this. Oh, thing turned off. Video capture. Nope. There we go. Okay. So we did one egg drop. It survived the initial impact. Unfortunately, it did not. It protected our egg, but it kind of also exploded. Maybe I can just quickly reassemble this. Let's see. I would like to do it on an actual egg if that's possible, or on an actual drop. Who knows what's going on anymore? Yeah, no, not gonna happen. It's just falling apart. Well, that's it for Mad Scientists. Thank you so much for coming by. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them anytime. Like I said, next Friday there is no Mad Scientists, but the following Friday maybe I'll try to fix this up and try it again. If you are from a middle school, please leave your name and school that you're from either in the comments here or on the Google classroom for your school. That way we know who attended. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.